Cotton is probably one of the most recommended fabrics for summer, and it's everywhere. T-shirts, shorts, dresses, bed sheets, towels, underwear even. And most people think of it as a safe fabric, the breathable one, the comfortable one. But truth is that cotton is much more complex than most people think. And today I want to discuss not only how cotton behaves on the body, but also how it became one of the most dominant fibers in the textile industry, how it's produced, why cotton quality varies so much, and how to actually understand what you're wearing before summer starts. Cotton is a natural fiber, meaning it comes from an organic source rather than being manufactured from petroleum products like synthetic fibers are. The fiber itself grows around the seeds of the cotton plant in soft, fluffy clusters that we usually recognize as cotton balls. An interesting fact is that the word cotton itself comes from the Arabic word coton, which reflects how long this fiber has been connected to trade and textile production across different cultures. Cotton is primarily made of cellulose, the same natural substance that also forms paper and wood fibers. And even though it looks soft and simple, this small plant completely transformed the textile industry. Today, cotton grows across tropical and subtropical regions all around the world, including India, China, and the United States, Pakistan, Brazil, Turkey, and many others. But cotton didn't become dominant just because it was comfortable. It became dominant because it became incredibly efficient to produce. Cotton has been used for thousands of years. Some of the earliest evidence of cotton textiles comes from India over 7,000 years ago, long before industrial textile production existed. And at the time, everything was done manually. Harvesting, separating fibers, spinning, weaving, and all of it required enormous amounts of labor. But things changed dramatically during the Industrial Revolution. New inventions like the cotton gin made it possible to separate fibers from seeds much faster than before, while machines like the spinning jenny and spinning mule allowed yarn production to scale massively. And this is what truly changed the textile industry. Cotton became easier to produce in huge quantities, easier to transport, easier to weave, and eventually cheaper to sell. That is one of the reasons why cotton became so integrated into the daily life across the world. And once mass production entered the picture, cotton stopped being just a textile fiber. It became an industry. Today, most cotton harvesting is heavily mechanized. Machines either pick the cotton directly from the plants or strip entire cotton balls during harvesting. After collection, the cotton is compressed into large bales and transported to cotton gins where the fibers are separated from dirt, seeds, and plant residue. Then the fibers go through additional cleaning and carding processes where they are aligned into long continuous strands before spinning. And this stage matters more than most people realize, because the way cotton is processed, the fiber length, cleaning quality, spinning method, and finishing treatments all influence how the final fabric will feel, behave, wrinkle, peel, absorb moisture, and age over time. Which is also why two cotton garments can feel completely different, even if the label says exactly the same thing: 100% cotton. Cotton became popular not only because it was easy to produce, but because it genuinely feels pleasant to wear in many situations. The fibers are naturally soft and smooth, which is why cotton often feels gentle against the skin. It is also durable enough for everyday life, which is why it appears in things like t-shirts, denim, underwear, towels, and bedding. Cotton also absorbs moisture well, which is one of the reasons it often feels comfortable at first when you start sweating. It also allows airflow reasonably well, especially in lighter fabric, which helps regulate body temperature pretty nicely. And unlike many synthetic fibers, cotton doesn't actually create static cling or the dry electric feeling against the skin, which is also a good point. But this is also when the things become complicated, because as I mentioned before, not all cotton behaves the same way. One of the biggest misconceptions about cotton is assuming that all cotton fabrics will automatically feel breathable and comfortable. But the reality is that two garments can both say 100% cotton on the label and still behave completely differently on your body. The first reason is the fabric structure itself. Lightweight cotton fabrics usually allow more airflow and movement, while thicker cotton fabrics can trap heat and feel heavy surprisingly quickly. And then there's the difference between woven and knitted cottons. A crisp cotton shirt and a soft jersey t-shirt are both cotton, but they behave differently because of the structure of the fabric. And this changes how air, moisture, and movement interact with your body. And if it comes to the woven fabrics, the weave also matters, because some cotton fabrics are tightly woven for durability and structure, while others are more open and breathable. And then there's also the fiber quality itself. Higher quality cotton made from longer fibers tend to feel smoother, softer, and more stable over time, while lower quality cotton can become rough, stiff, twisted, or even peel after only a few washes. And something important that people often misunderstand is that thicker doesn't automatically mean better quality, especially in summer when heavy cotton can trap heat almost as much as some synthetic fibers. Yes, you heard it right. Cotton can behave sometimes like synthetic fibers, even if it's made from a plant. And since the types of cotton is so important, let's discuss about it as well. Because not all cotton comes from the same type of plant or fiber length, and this is part of why cotton quality varies so much. Pima and Egyptian cotton, for example, are known for having longer fibers, which usually creates smoother, softer, and more durable fabrics. These fabrics also tend to peel less and maintain a more even appearance over time. And meanwhile, on the other side, there is upland cotton, which is the most cotton used worldwide. It's more affordable and versatile, but because the fibers are shorter, fabrics made from it are often slightly rougher and more prone to peeling, which nobody likes. And another type of cotton is the organic cotton, which refers not to the fiber quality, but to the farming methods. Organic cotton is grown without synthetic pesticides or genetically modified seeds, although there are certifications like GOTS or Ecotext that are usually needed to verify broader environmental or chemical standards used for this particular type of cotton. Even though cotton is often promoted as the ideal summer fabric, it does have its own limitations. And many people discover those limitations only after wearing clothes in real life and in different conditions. Yes, cotton absorbs sweat very well, but it also holds on to that moisture, which means that once the fabric becomes wet, it can start feeling heavy, sticky, and slow to dry. And this becomes especially noticeable in humid weather, where evaporation already happens more slowly. And this is one of the reasons why some people feel uncomfortable even in natural fabrics during summer. But the problem is not necessarily the fiber alone. It's also the thickness, the fit, the width, the airflow around the body, and how much the fabric traps moisture against the skin. Tight cotton cloths can feel surprisingly suffocating simply because there's no room for ventilation. And also many people expect cotton to behave like sportswear or performance fabrics, but we have to remember that cotton absorbs moisture instead of quickly pushing it away from the skin. Overall, cotton is not bad, it just has its limits. Cotton might feel simple when you wear it, but growing it at an industrial scale is anything but simple. Just imagine that every year, around 24 to 26 million tons of cotton fiber are produced worldwide. And considering that a cotton t-shirt usually weighs around 130 and 180 grams, depending on its size and quality, that's roughly enough cotton to produce around 130 to 200 billion t-shirts every single year. Just imagine the amount of t-shirts. During the growing stage, cotton requires large amounts of water, especially in hot climates where irrigation becomes necessary. And over time, large-scale cotton farming has contributed to severe environmental problems in some regions, including water depletion and ecosystem damage. One of the most famous examples is the Aral Sea in Central Asia, which dramatically shrank after rivers were diverted for agricultural irrigation. Conventional cotton farming also relies heavily on pesticides and fertilizers, which can affect soil quality, biodiversity, and surrounding communities. And because global demand for cheap cotton remains extremely high, the pressure to produce faster and cheaper continues to shape how cotton is farmed and processed today, which creates an interesting contradiction. Cotton is natural, but large-scale cotton production is not automatically low impact and sustainable. The best way to choose better cotton cloths is to stop looking only at the fiber label and start paying attention to actually how the fabric behaves. Touch it, notice whether it feels airy, dense, stiff, smooth, rough, heavy, or soft. And look how it moves and drapes. Think about the climate you're going to wear it in, because a thick cotton garment may feel luxurious on a hanger but become unbearable once temperatures rise. And also the fit matters more than many people realize, because a loose cotton shirt can sometimes feel cooler and more comfortable than a tight synthetic top, but also cooler than a tight cotton one. So the fit really matters because it influences the airflow, which is everything. Cotton is generally easy to care for, but the way you wash and dry it still affects how long it stays comfortable and stable. Cotton tends to shrink under high heat, especially during drying, which is why garments sometimes feel different after the first wash. And you also have to remember that dark cotton colors can also fade over time, especially in hot water. I also have a video about colors in clothes, so if you're interested about the topic, I'll insert the card over here and also in the description below. So go check it out if you want to learn more about colors in textiles. And getting back to the caring of cotton, cotton? Because cotton wrinkles easily, the way it's dried often changes how polished the fabric looks afterward. And the good news is that cotton usually tolerates ironing very well, especially compared to the synthetic fibers. And actually in many cases cotton looks much better after a proper press. Cotton is one of the most familiar fibers in the world, but once you pay attention to how it's grown, processed, woven, and worn, you realize how complex it actually is. And understanding fabrics like this changes the way you experience clothing entirely. Not just how you shop for clothes, but also how you wear them, care for them, and understand why some pieces become favorites while others stay unworn. And if you like this video and you would like me to talk about other fibers as well, leave the comment of the fiber you're interested to hear more about. Hope this video was useful and see you in the next one.